Thank you. Thanks, Secretary Rollins, for making some time for us today. Appreciate you being here. I'll talk a little bit about tariffs quickly. Since the reciprocal tariff announcement last month, there have been several officials that have stressed the need to how these tariffs are going to play out. We have heard that it could take weeks or months to understand the impact moving forward, and many farmers and exporters in my district have already lost some business or contracts due to trade uncertainty. And as we harvest this summer, there is some more concern, as you, I'm sure, are well aware.
Yes.
Has the department had any conversation about standing up any trade assistance program for the impacted farmers as this plays out?
We have, and the conversations are continuing. Our goal is that it won't be necessary that these trade deals are moving so quickly, and not one trade deal with China, but dozens and dozens. When the president says we're in conversations with more than 100 countries, that's actually true, and a really important point in all this. But having said that, if it is necessary, we will ensure the president has made very clear that he's got the farmers and ranchers' backs, and we will stand up a program again if necessary.
Before my time in office, as a farmer, I used to come here quite a bit and knock on a lot of members of Congress's doors, and I would complain about the unfair trade practices that we used to deal with on a regular basis. So it is nice that it is being addressed.
Thank you.
So thank you. I also want to briefly touch on disaster assistance for context. My Central Valley dairy farmers suffered major losses in 2023 from flooding that displaced families and their cows. I made sure in last year's disaster aid package to include $2 billion for livestock and made dairy and livestock producers eligible for support for the flood losses. I'm aware that yesterday you told Secretary Hoven and the Senate Ag Committee that you expect disaster assistance will be going out by the end of the month. What steps is the department taking to ensure livestock producers are reimbursed fairly from this pot of money, specifically those who suffered losses from those floods?
Thank you. And if I could, I will quickly address something that was said by I think it was Mr. Bishop, but we have moved so quickly on ECAP. It went out in 3 months. And in the Vilsack administration, the average implementation time was over 1 year to move those funds out. So I want to give my team credit for working around the clock 7 days a week to get that out ahead of the statutory deadline. And within 3 days, as the applications moved in, we were moving money out. We now, obviously, in the last few months, have turned to the disaster relief. To your point, specifically livestock is your question. And I think it's important to note that that's a lot more complicated because they're block grants and they have to be moved and agreed to by the states. But we are very close. And in fact, later today at a press conference, I'll preview it since you asked, but we'll be announcing the exact dates that the portal's open, that the agreements are reached, and that the money will begin to move. But basically, by the end of this month, money will begin moving out. I know in New England, for the Connecticut, Maine, et cetera, farmers, this is a really important question too. I had a great conversation with this amazing patriot over my left shoulder yesterday, and we are doing everything we can, I think, hopefully as quickly as humanly possible to do it right, do it intentionally, but to get it to these poor people who need it right now or last week or last year.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you taking over this issue that we've been dealing with from the previous administration where they were pretty slow getting to us, and the previous secretary was not as helpful.
Yeah, thank
so I
you.
appreciate that. I'm very supportive with the administration's efforts to secure the southern border. Ensuring Americans are safe and removing violent criminals from our communities is a top priority. I'm also glad that President Trump has been vocal in finding a solution for our ag workforce and providing undocumented farm workers with an opportunity to continue contributing to our nation's agriculture sector. It's estimated that 70% of the farm workers are immigrants, with 40% being undocumented, and we need to work together to ensure our agriculture economy continues to thrive. What involvement has the USDA had with the administration to craft immigration policies that keep these facts in mind?
If you missed it, I believe it was a very important moment in not our last cabinet meeting, but the one before. We've had 5 cabinet meetings, which is sort of stunning if you think about it in just a couple of months. But the one before, the president himself brought up this issue. And he and I have talked about it at length from the first administration to this one. And he is very, very resolute that we have to fix the labor issue. And obviously, we needed to secure the border first. That has been done. But in that cabinet meeting, he himself lined out how we could do it and how we could do it quickly. I'm working very closely with Lori Chavez-DeRemer, our Secretary of Labor, not only to reform the H-2A program, which I think is of vital importance. I'm from Texas. I understand very deeply how important that is, but also the larger effort to reform our immigration system to better serve our farmers and our ranchers is a priority.
Well, I appreciate that. My time's almost expired, so just wanted to follow up on the USDA FSA offices. We've got some issues as well. I'd love to communicate with your office on that, so thank you for that. And then will Regional Conservation Partnership Program contracts that have been approved to support dairy environmental stewardship get their allocated funding. Are you familiar with that one?
I'm not, but let me look into it today, and we'll circle back right away.
Thank you, and I yield back.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Ms.